It's overrunning like a six-shot gun, and the miles keep dragging on and on and on. Trying to make it home. Grabbing a long one, life with a long run. Wind whistling the devil's outlaw song. And he strums along. He said, la 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 la. La 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 la. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Tuned in to Off the Yard. I'm Big Lance. We're sucker free. This is what it is. Hope everybody's having a blessed holiday season and spending time with family. So, I'm watching the homie the other day. Big salute to Jay Williams and Let's Live Life. Make sure if you haven't already gone over there, make sure you check out that channel. And he's talking about a buddy of his that just got into a high profile murder case. So it got me to thinking. I got a few of my own in the old bag. So I'm going to go back in time, all right, to when I was in high school. And I had a buddy of mine, a dude named Gary. Gary was like all-star soccer player. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play soccer. This dude loved soccer. He was really good at it, like fucking great at it. And kind of a weird dude. You know, this is back when like white kids first started like putting dreadlocks in their hair and shit. And he would have like weird like gum and just weird shit in his hair. It was all dreaded up and crazy looking, man. But chicks dug him. He was dating fine bitches. It was a crazy time in the 90s. But Gary came from a very well-to-do family. Like, fools had yachts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had real money, big money. But Gary liked to get high. He liked to get drunk. And he was hanging out downtown in Old Town Fredericksburg with this, like weird homeless dude named Vernon. I remember when I first met Vernon, he's a little old guy, man, but he knew everybody downtown and he could score shit that, you know, we're kids. We couldn't score shit like that back then. So, I first met the dude. I kind of had like, you know how you get a vibe on somebody, like this dude just ain't right. There's something off about this cat. That's how I felt about dude. And I told Gary, I said, man, this dude is weird as fuck, man. Like, why are you hanging out with this guy? Oh, man, I'm just doing this. I'm just getting dope from him. So, anyway, fast forward a little bit, and I get locked up on an assault charge in juvie, right? I can't remember. I think I was probably around 14, maybe 15-ish. And I watch the news. I see Gary's face pop up on TV. Shit was crazy. Gary was like 17 at the time, I believe. I think he had just turned 17. Yeah, 17. So, it says underneath of it, suspect in downtown murder arrested. Not even 30 minutes after I see that, I see Gary come into the bars, right? And I'm like, holy shit, bro, what the hell happened? He's all kind of like, you know, he's out there. He ain't trying to talk to me or anybody else about what he's got going on right now. So I end up getting out. And I started kind of like following the case or whatever. And this shit was nuts, dude, because what had happened was Gary and this old dude been hanging out, and apparently Gary had passed out drunk on like some like abandoned warehouse, shitty sofa or some area down there. And when he had awoken, he awoke to Vernon diddling, right? So he's passed out on the couch. Vernon's trying to diddle with dude, and Gary fucking snapped. I mean, bro, he snapped. And when he snapped, he found a lead pipe and commenced to beating Vernon's freaking whole head off almost. But the issue really, like if he had just done that, I think that Gary would have maybe got a little, he might have got off. But after he beats this fool's head off, he takes his fingers in the dude's shit and goes to the wall and writes "Demon Warped" on the wall in the dude's blood. Demon Warped. I don't know what that shit means. I don't know if he heard that on a song, saw it on a video or what, but something in that man persuaded him to write "Demon Warped" in that man's blood on that wall. And then he left. And this is where you start to really see how money controls everything. Because if that would have been 90% of you, and definitely me, do some shit like that, I would be in prison to this day. Gary's parents put up everything. Got him a lawyer. I think the lawyer's name was, I think it was Ben Sharp, if I remember right. He was like this high profile lawyer in Fredericksburg at the time. He was the man. He was like it. And I mean, they paid thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for this guy to represent Gary. So I'm thinking, hey, Gary's probably going to get 20, 30 years, man. Right? Goes to trial. We all go to the trial. You know, big thing. As the trial's going on, I start to notice, like, they're really making it out to be that Gary's the victim, which in all actuality he was. And this is kind of like a catch-22 because here you have a 17-year-old kid, a child. This man has tried to molest him. Gary snaps out and kills him. So, boom, you have the murder. But what about that other shit? What about that weird shit? Now, I think that that's where, like, the prosecution was kind of like, what, you know, where we differentiate crime of passion or crime of, you know, a momentary second of insanity to, bruh, it's fucked up. They fight the case, they go to trial. Trial lasts like 8-9 months. Gary's out. He's fucking out. They bonded him out of jail. They charged him as an adult. They bond him directly out of jail. On a fucking murder case where you wrote "Demon Warped" on the wall in a cat's blood. I'm not getting out on bond on some shit like that. Gary got on bond and went to trial, fought this shit all the way through, got found guilty, and got 4.5 fucking years. 4.5 years, dog. Where did you do that at? I got 8 years for a bar fight. Anyway, I ended up going to Southampton receiving in 1998. This is right after Gary had it was like a year or two after this all happened. Gary had stayed at receiving. He never left receiving. He became what's known as a cadre, which is basically like a worker, kitchen worker, whatever, because the little bitch was scared to go to prison. So he stays at receiving in this little area in the back where they keep these little kitchen workers. Did his 4.5 years and is on the street today. It amazes me how much money can influence even the highest of administrative people as judges and judiciary employees. I want to say, though, that I don't blame the man for what he did to Vernon. Vernon deserved that shit. I don't know about the writing on the wall in blood. I got nothing to do with that. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But there was something inside that man that possessed him to do that. And I think that should look a little bit deeper into it. Hey, man, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm Big Lance. I hope everybody's having a great holiday season once again. And as always, stay up, stay out, and stay sucker free, man. Y'all have a blessed one.